Dr. Umar Johnson is a very charismatic and intelligent man out of the city of Philadelphia. He burst onto the scene in 2009 coming through Sinetta TV, and he was talking about black male development and also talking about he was a child clinical psychologist, working with inner city youth and telling us about the medicines that they put our children on. And he garnered the attention of a lot of black mothers, especially single mothers that's raising young black boys and young black girls. And he had a lot of important information. For a long time, he had a large following. A lot of people love Umar. But Umar would constantly be online talking about male accountability. And a lot of women would champion Umar. They would be on his side. They were staunch supporters financially and a whole bunch of different aspects. But there was one video that Dr. Umar had where he was on there and he was talking about black men that sleep with white women, W women, snow bunnies. It was something like this.
Black men date out their race more than all other men put together. You know why? Racial inferiority. We don't think we're as good as the white man, so we need the white woman in order for us to feel an artificial sense of equality. It is self-hatred to the 20th power. I'm not against white women, but I support black women. And in my support of black women, I cannot condone interracial dating. But let's look at the economics. Take the romance out. Take the emotion out. Let's look at the economics. Marriage is a business contract. Women on average live longer than men. So if I marry a white woman and I die prematurely, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. I die prematurely, rest in peace, marvelous Marvin Hagler. That white woman is not going to take any of the wealth that I built as a black man and give it to the black community so we can help regenerate ourselves. She's going to keep that money for herself, and all that black money will go back into the hands of white society. Interracial marriage is economic betrayal.
All of those talking points may be true, and it sounds good. I mean, we've heard people like Dr. Amos Wilson teach us this. People like Dr. John Henry Clark teach us this. I mean, Dr. Smalls and so many of the elders of the past talked about economic betrayal when we start mixing up the races, because we know that our families have been systematically destroyed. So we have to work every day to put our families back in order. So we know all these things. J.A. Rogers told us these same things. Schomburg told us these things. But Dr. Umar, in Dr. Umar fashion, because he knows that the women are the biggest supporters financially, he goes and he caters to a lot of the things that women say. But now Dr. Umar is under fire because Dr. Umar broke the one cardinal rule. You never say anything that a lot of these black women would disagree with. I learned that the hard way. I made thousands of videos talking about black male accountability. But one time that I talked about holding black women accountable, I lost 80% of my women followers. The other 20% stayed 10 toes down, and they still rock with George to this day. But the one video I made holding some of these women accountable, I lost all of them. But now Dr. Umar is under the same scope. And now he's calling Kamala Harris out for cosplaying as a black woman. And the Sisterhood, they are coming after him with everything blazing. Everything. Y'all don't believe me? Check this out.
Kamala, right? How do you feel about her? Because I know you made a comment earlier saying that she don't claim her black side.
House niggas, just like Barack Obama, they do what they need to do to stay close to the white power structure. She made a career locking up black people. This is the same woman who went on international television, Art, let me remind you, about a year or two ago and said America is not a racist country. You want me to go vote for a so-called black woman who went on international television and told the world that America is not a racist country? She spit in the face of the family of Trayvon Martin. She spit in the face of the family of Breonna Taylor. She spit in the face of the family of Michael Brown, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Amir Locke, Dante. We can go on and on. Tamir Rice, all the Africans murdered by police, which are state-sanctioned executions. Let us be clear. The police are agents of the state. When the police kills a black person, that is a state-sponsored execution. And in response to all this racism, the execution of George Floyd, this part-time black woman says America is not racist. And when I say part-time, Art, I'm not poking fun at her because she's being mixed race. I want to be clear. I'm poking fun at her because she can rarely be found speaking up for black people.
Umar Johnson, what were you thinking? Going against the sisterhood? After all of the support they've been giving you, Umar, we know that you turned into a Baptist minister. You overlook all the shortcomings that goes on with our sisters, and you just castigate the brothers for everything, right? But now you're going against Kamala. They know Kamala Harris is not African American. They know that she's an Indian woman. But the sisterhood said that she's black. So you better go with what the sisterhood say. Who are you to go against the sisterhood, Dr. Umar? See, this is what happens when you go against the sisterhood. They turn on you like this.
Sick of listening to Umar. Umar, let's talk. Okay? First and foremost.
As Dr. Umar, sister, Dr. Umar.
Well, then act like a doctor and stop criticizing everybody. Bottom line, people who
Emotions, non-emotional strategic thinking.
Hater. You are a black woman.
You're emotional, my sister. We can't win being emotional.
Dude, you criticize everybody. I ain't never seen you do anything for black people.
Hey, we're not going to attack our guests either.
Calm down, my beautiful African sister.
All right. You have seemed to be mighty emotional yourself today, Dr. Umar. We all are, because this is a very touchy situation. We see it differently.
Passion. I am
passion.
Passion.
Passion is different from
Dr. Umar is using semantics now.
Dr. Umar is just a black female basher. And I said, that definitely is not true. He is uphold the integrity of black women. That's just how I've known them.
But brothers like Umar and me, who are hardcore pro-blacks, defend black women with an iron fist. And the minute you go against, and this is not a diss to all black women, because there are a lot of black women that are 10 toes down with the brothers, and they call out the sisterhood as well. But we know in our community, I often say, most of our women are pro-woman with that lacks self-accountability. And the black man is pro-individual, and he's selfish. So now I often say, if you ain't pro-black family, then I ain't rocking with you, period. I'm not rocking with you. I don't do the individual gender bashing and all the crap that we do. Pro-black family, straight, right or wrong, weak or strong. So Umar is learning the hard way. But Umar also, in this interview, got into why he doesn't support Donald Trump. Check this out.
Okay. What was your message?
My message was solidarity. My message was don't be emotionally co-opted by either presidential candidate. It is not enough to vote for Donald Trump because he is talking about doing something economically for African people. Let us remind ourselves that while he was president for 4 years, he did very little, if anything at all, economically for African people. He didn't start talking about a platinum package until it was time to run again for a second term against then former Vice President Joe Biden. And so now he's talking about economics, but you had 4 years in office. At the conclusion of the George Floyd protest for justice, Donald Trump passed the historic Hispanic Prosperity Initiative. Why are you passing a Hispanic Prosperity Initiative at the end of the George Floyd protest? Where was the American African Prosperity Initiative? On the other side of the aisle, with our Asian American, South Asian American, occasionally black candidate Kamala Harris, she sat in the White House with President Biden for 4 years and watched him pass an anti-Asian hate bill. She watched him pass an anti-transgender hate bill. She watched him give billions of dollars to Ukraine and Afghanistan. She watched him purge and gentrify black people out of Chicago and New York, among other cities, because we now know that there are migrant crises growing in other cities. And she did nothing. And this is after she said on an interview that she can't do anything just for black people. Well, if you can't do anything just for black people, Vice President Harris, how was it possible? Excuse me, how is it possible for you guys to do something just for gays, just for Asians, just for Native Americans, just for migrants? Complete contradiction. And so for me, at this point right now, with 3 months to go until the November 5th election, Baba David, I don't have a reason to vote for either of them.
And see, for me, I hear everything that Dr. Umar Johnson is saying. Now, we under the Democratic Party in the last 60 years has been a colossal failure. Black cities are burning, right? And we've had promises made to us from the Republican Party. And at one point we were used to be Republicans, and there's a reason why we switched over from the Republican Party. And then we've had promises from the Democratic Party, right? But the question I'm asking black folks is, what is the black agenda? See, you brothers and sisters need to understand something. If everything that we've been through here in America as a people, we got a 9th degree black belt and talking about our history. If they can prop a woman and says that she's black when we know she's Indian and get you to believe that she's black, something's wrong with you. If they can give you Obama and say that he's the first African-American president, something's wrong with you. Because it's actually a disrespect to you, your story, the people that came before you. All the ancestors that marched and got hoses, dogs bit on them, hit with hoses, falsely incarcerated, all the things that we were doing to get some justice and some liberty here in America. They can just bring these people here and say that these people are your descendants, and they're not. They're not. But that's because you don't have a tight black agenda. What is your identity? Who are you as a people? And because they know that, they can just get this and then watch us argue with each other about whether this woman is black or not. That's more of an indictment on us as a people. Our doors is wide open and anybody can walk in. We are a total contradiction and disrespect to Fannie Lou Hamer. All the people before us. Because every right that we ever got in this country, we had an agenda. We were doing it for something. So when a lot of you older people say, your ancestors died for you to have a right to vote. Well, they didn't die for me to just go vote just to vote. When they did it, it was for an agenda. It was for a reason. They was thinking futuristic. And they understood that if I do this now, it's for the benefit of those coming behind me, after me. But you're telling me just to go vote without an agenda. That is a total contradiction and disrespect to Medgar Evers, Nat Turner, and so many of the others. Our grandparents and great-grandparents. All the sacrifices and things that they had to put up with. You just want me to go out there and just vote for a woman that don't represent my lineage, that's identifying as me. So how about I just went and identified as an Indian and said I'm going to run on the ticket as an Indian? The Indian community would destroy me. They would not go for it. But somehow, because we lack identity, we allow anybody to just come in. We already know Trump. We already know the Republicans. The Republicans don't care. They just garner the votes of the W class. They're not catering to us. So then you bring up Trump and his platinum plan and his promise to the black community. But I'm asking you, what is the black people's promise to their own? What are you demanding from Trump? What leverage do you have? What type of leverage are you creating so when you walk into the room, Trump already understands what he needs to do? Are you doing that? If not, then you're just wasting your time voting for Trump too. Neither party will ever suit the needs of the black community when you don't have a proper agenda for them to address. And this is why they can give you Obama. And this is why they can give you this woman now, Mrs. Harris, saying that she's a black American and she can come before you with a fake country accent. Because you lack self-respect and honor for the people that was there before you. Ain't nowhere in the world our grandparents back then during the civil rights movement would have let a non-black American woman stand up and cosplay as them, knowing that they were being hung. They wasn't given jobs. They were going through so many different things. And you going to let somebody just come in and act like they're you to get the benefits? Why would we do it now? Why would we do it now? How can you say you honoring your big mama and your granddaddy and you sitting here allowing this to happen? Shame on the black community. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button. Subscribe to Street Media TV. Leave your comments in the comment section. And if you're not addressing what I'm talking about, you leave stupid comments, I will erase them. I do not deal with ignorance over here. You heard, if you made it this far, you heard everything I said. And nothing I said is fiction. Nothing. So if you want to support Kamala, go ahead. But if you in direct contradiction to what I said, what you know is fact, I'm just going to erase your comments. Peace.